Welcome to the Belly Brain Connection. I'm Hannah Winans. I'm a certified functional nutrition counselor, and I'm on a mission to help educate people about the connection between their gut health and mental well-being. I believe that our gut health is the cornerstone to our overall health, and when we nourish our bodies, we nourish our minds. Belly Brain is for informational purposes only. I'm not offering medical advice here. If you need medical advice, please consult your physician. Thank you so much for tuning back in. Today is episode 17. Last week, we covered the book Good Energy by Dr. Casey Means, an amazing book. I just really hope you can add this to your reading list on your health adventure. I really appreciate Dr. Means' look and take on how we should be looking at food as nourishment. And I know that sounds so simple, but for me, having grown up kind of struggling, I'll say battling my weight my entire life, I really developed a strange relationship with food when it seemed to become what was more about what I can't eat than what I can eat. And that's not healthy. I really needed to shift my thinking. And when I really started looking at food as the thing that powers us up and powers up our mitochondria, I really, and started to learn more about foods and what they do for our bodies. I always thought I had a pretty good awareness, but I really needed to start eating to live and, eating for power and health. That really helped me change my mindset and made me more curious about food and what it does for our bodies. So I really love Dr. Casey Means' approach and really looking at our mitochondrial health and our good energy and how we have a say in that. We have a say in how we feel. And that can start with just what we're putting into our mouths. So get that book, check it out. I thought it was really good. We might talk about it a little bit more in the future. For today, though, I wanted to share a couple studies that I thought were pretty interesting that links our gut microbiome to exercise and the fact that they both kind of benefit each other and how even changes in your gut microbiome could actually drive cravings for people to exercise. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then our food of the week this week is pineapple. I've been on a pineapple kick, so I wanted to make sure that it was okay I was on a pineapple kick. Because sometimes I get a little bit carried away with things. So we'll talk about the health benefits of pineapple and also why when you eat pineapple, especially fresh pineapple, can you not taste anything afterwards? So it's very interesting. And it's something that happens to me when I kind of go nuts on raw pineapple. Let's see. Oh, and for those of you who have listened to my previous episodes, I am really into olive oil. We did one a few episodes back that talked about all the health benefits of olive oil and what to look for in olive oil. My olive oil shipment came. I'm in an olive oil club. Go to freshpressedoliveoil.com if you want to learn more. But I got my 3 little bottles of very fancy, beautiful olive oils from Spain. Every shipment they're from a different region. So one shipment I got was from Australia, of course Greece, and Italy. But this one's from Spain, and I opened up my first bottle, and it smelled so fresh, and it's just beautiful. Once you kind of know, it just really was a delight. I threw it on my arugula. It's a 1 cough, so not too strong, just kind of perfect for all kinds of things. And if you're wondering what that means, go to the previous episodes, but just fun. I was so excited when I got those this weekend. I wanted to share that with you. I did find a good olive oil, at Eureka Natural Foods in McKinleyville. If you're local, it's Bragg's. Braggs. They're also the company that makes apple cider vinegar, the Bragg's apple cider vinegar. And I checked them out and I feel like their olive oil checks all the boxes. So there's certain things you should be looking for in your olive oil. And so that one's a good one. I had a friend ask me about a Trader Joe's olive oil that she gets, and I still don't have enough information on that to know for sure if that checks the olive oil boxes. But, and I also have a friend whose dad's been researching olive oil, and he came up with a really good one that I think is probably great. I don't remember the name, so I will post that in the website. But yeah, so kind of having fun on my olive oil adventure. But for today, let's talk about exercise and your gut microbiome. Now, we know all these episodes, everything's connected. I really believe that our health starts in our gut. And I know that, 20 years ago, we didn't have all this information about the gut microbiome. This is all kind of new stuff. And so it's so cool to be interested in it at a time that the science is, I feel like we're on the cusp of something and the science is emerging. And every day I'm hearing something new where they're connecting it back to the gut microbiome. I'm like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. So there were a couple of new studies that came out that caught my attention. Now they're going to have to do more research on these, but I thought it was interesting because I exercise every day. And well, let me rephrase that. I go for a walk 6 days a week. It's kind of a hike and it's about 4 to 5 miles. And I do that every morning. I consider that more movement. I feel like as we get older, we should just be moving, period. I do, strength training 3 days a week. And that I really consider exercise, but it's all good for you. Right. And we'll talk a little bit about why, but I know for me, my walks are really important. And it's almost to a point now where I get really grumpy if I don't get to go for my morning walk. I really can't miss more than a couple days without it really feeling like it starts to affect me mentally. And especially with the rainy weather we've had in Humboldt, I have other things I can do here at the house. I have a Peloton. I've got, a rebounder. I got all kinds of stuff. But getting outside and going for that morning walk, and if I'm lucky, seeing the sun come up, that just is so important to me. And it's beginning to make sense that I kind of crave it, just like I crave in a weird way other exercise. And they're beginning to learn that anything that makes changes to our gut microbiome can have an impact on what we crave. So if we have a high sugar diet, we've now trained our little gut buddies to crave more sugar. If we struggle with alcohol, we've trained our gut buddies that they want more of that. So now that they're showing that the gut microbiome actually changes with exercise, I'm like, is it the same thing? I don't know. It seems like maybe it could be. And I know, I have a lot of runners in my family, cross-country runners. And over the years, I've heard about the runner's high, nothing I've ever experienced, but I guess it's a thing. And I always thought, well, it must just be straight to the brain. It's just like a dopamine hit. But they're starting to kind of come up with the idea that maybe it's also in the gut, because again, we know that 90 to 95% of our serotonin is produced in our guts, and it's your gut and your brain are speaking directly. So maybe that's where all these hits of dopamine are coming from the gut microbiome that are craving and loving the exercise. So the first study I want to share with you is, well, let me back up a little bit. Let's talk about just physical exercise and what that does for our digestive system, because our digestive system is all part of our overall gut health. It's all connected, our gut microbiome. It's not just what we eat, but it's what our bodies do with what we eat. And that has a lot to do with your digestion. So what's nice about exercise, and even just a brisk walk, it can increase gut motility. It keeps your digestive tract moving. It helps to boost circulation. It actually tones your digestive muscles, especially a walk right after a meal. Not only is that bringing down your blood sugar, right, but it's also getting things kind of worked out so that you don't go to bed, filled with gas and bloating, and so that you can sleep better. So, everything's just so tied together. And that's why I love functional medicine and functional nutrition, because it's looking at the body as a whole and how just one little thing that we can do, how much it can affect how we feel. So this study from the University of Illinois, this was a study conducted on 18 lean and 14 obese sedentary adults. They started them on a 6-week exercise program of 30 to 60 minutes, 3 times per week. They found they had an increase of gut microbes that assist in the production of short-chain fatty acids that reduce the risk of inflammatory disease, as well as type 2 diabetes, obesity, and heart disease. Now, they went back to inactivity for 6 weeks. So this whole group of people stopped what they were doing, went back to their old ways, and their microbes had reverted back to how they were before they started the exercise. Super exciting. I know I'm a nerd, but I can't help it, because again, it's just showing the impact of what we have, what we do, and how it affects our gut microbes. And when we realize that our feel-good hormones and our immunity, all of these things reside in our gut, and there's things that we can do to change that and make it better, it's just super exciting. So, so that was just one study that shows how exercise benefits our gut microbiome. Now, the next study It was from the National Institute of Health, excuse me. I'm going to link this in the Belly Brain website. So researchers use antibiotics to eliminate gut microbes in one group of mice while not giving any antibiotics to a second group. Okay, so we know from previous episodes that antibiotics wreak havoc on our gut health and can basically, one round of antibiotics can wipe out our gut health or gut microbiome for 2 years. Not to panic though, because there's things that we can do right away to start rebuilding our gut microbe. So, I don't want people to think, oh, we can't take antibiotics. Antibiotics save lives. It's just a matter of understanding that when you do, you need to be really, really proactive about replenishing the good bacteria in your gut. Okay, so let me back up. So they gave these mice the antibiotics to one group, not to another group. Using a mouse wheel, the researchers measured how long it took each group to exhaust themselves. They found that the microbiome depleted mice became exhausted much quicker and subsequently began to run less on the wheel. The researchers believe that the motivation factor in each group of mice was impacted by the neurotransmitter known as dopamine, found in the brain of both humans and rodents that provides a sense of reward. The researchers found that dopamine increased in the normal mice, but not in the microbiome depleted mice. That's a big deal. So I think there's more that needs to be done on this study, but I think that's pretty interesting, and I can't wait to see where it leads. Will they have some kind of a probiotic that makes you want to exercise more? Who knows? I mean, they're already coming up with psychobiotics, which are certain probiotics, certain strains that are developed to target mental health issues or the bacteria or the lack of bacteria that they're now believing cause mental health issues or can have an impact on mental health issues. So if they're going to have psychobiotics, why couldn't they have like exercise biotics? I don't know, something like that. So this stuff's great. I know I'm geeking out. I hope you guys find it as interesting as I do, but just something to keep in mind. Again, another way that we may have impact over our gut health, which of course we know impacts our overall health. So I hope that you enjoyed that. Anytime I hear any more studies about this, I'll be bringing it to you. Again, this is all really new stuff, new science. All right, food of the week, the pineapple. So yes, I've been on a pineapple kick. And I found one of my favorite things right now is dried pineapple, no sugar on them. So like dehydrated pineapple. I found some at Eureka Natural Foods in McKinleyville in the bulk section. Delicious. I also found some organic, prepackaged individual packages at Target. Those are delicious too. So I've been having those as a little bit of a snack because I don't do a lot of sugar anymore. I do like a little sugary or sweet, tart, tangy treat. These are great because they're chewy too. So they hit all the things, right? Chewy, sweet, tart, great for kids in lieu of candy. So long as it doesn't have the sugar added to it. And honestly, it really doesn't need it. It's really, really sweet. And I've known that pineapple has some pretty good digestive properties. It really helps with digestion. But one of the things I thought was interesting is that whenever I eat raw pineapple, like just a fresh pineapple that I cut open, I can't taste anything I eat after it. And I don't know if you've had that same experience, but it's like all of a sudden my tongue goes numb. There's no taste buds there anymore. And that's happened to me a few times to the point now where I'm like, okay, why is that? Because it doesn't happen when I eat dried pineapple. And it doesn't really happen when I eat cooked or like grilled pineapple. So what I found out was the enzyme that's in pineapple, bromelain, and bromelain is known, I think a lot of people when they've had surgery or they have a lot of bruising and they want to heal, that bromelain they even have bromelain tablets, but it's something that people recommend to incorporate that can really help with healing. It helps to reduce inflammation. It helps to prevent blood clots. So I do know that some people who have clotting disorders are not supposed to have pineapple. Consult your doctor if you've got something like that going on. You don't want to take your advice from me. But for most people, I think a little bit of pineapple every once in a while is totally fine. But what it has in it is it also break down amino acids. So that's why you'll see pineapple used as a tenderizer a lot. And so especially like in barbecue, it seems like I see pineapple used a lot to tenderize meats, soak them in pineapple juice. But I feel like it kind of is doing the same thing to your tongue. So, which is kind of gross sounding, but what it really does is that the bromelain dissolves the protective mucus that coats your tongue and the roof of your mouth. So when it's fresh and you eat it, you'll notice that sometimes it can be a little bit burny, but for me, I've just really noticed that I can't taste anything afterwards. So what a fun thing to do with kids, right? Because it's not damaging. It's not completely wiping out your taste buds forever. It kind of desensitizes them for a little bit. Get a big pineapple. They're kind of fun to have. I don't know. It feels like a little bit of an experiment, just getting it open and see if your kids or your grandkids, if they notice a difference after eating a slice or two of fresh pineapple. So a few ways to avoid that loss of taste is to soak the pineapple in water for about 30 minutes. Pair it with dairy. So one of my favorite things as a kid was cottage cheese and pineapple, canned pineapple. Now, canned pineapple, if it doesn't have the sugar in it, then I think it's totally fine. I mean, fresh is always better, but why not a little bit of canned pineapple? It's already cooked so that I believe it's cooked enough to where that's why the bromelain kind of comes out of it. It doesn't do the same thing to your tongue. But pair that with some cottage cheese. Cottage cheese has probiotic properties to it. There's even a brand, I want to say maybe it's Amy's that I get, and it's actual probiotic cottage cheese. But what a great pairing, really good for gut health. So you got your digestive property with the pineapple, you've got your probiotics and protein with the cottage cheese. So what a great snack, right? Let's see, grilled or cooked pineapple, that most likely won't have the same effect on your taste buds either. So it's the raw that definitely is an experience. What you're looking for when you're buying a pineapple is you want to make sure that it's kind of a golden brown. The bottom of it should smell, fruity. It shouldn't be too soft, but you don't want it to be green. Just get that nice golden brown color at the end and enjoy it. It's a fun treat. Chop it up, put it in a fruit salad. That's one of my favorite things too. And play with it a little bit. But I thought it was kind of fun. The dried pineapple for sure. What a great healthy snack treat for kids. Definitely, you can get away with replacing those baked fruit gummies with some dried pineapple. I think your kids will like it even better. Next week, our food of the week is going to be eggs. Now that the price of eggs is down a little bit, I feel like it's okay to talk about them. I love eggs. There's so many wonderful things about them. And then I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to bring to you as a topic, but I'll come up with something good. But I just wanted to thank you for checking this out again. And I really appreciate your support. I will see you all next week.